A New Hope, Nier Chapter 110 Fan Fiction by Azazyel. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel for listening and patreon.com/Azazyel to read all of Azazyel's stories. The rest of the Vytal festival went just fine. No catastrophes, endless armies of Grimm invading, the terrorists blowing up the walls, or likewise, anyone attacking Beacon at all. It was honestly anticlimactic, but that was probably for the best. So after our large group battle, we stomped in, our team split up so Ruby and Pyrrha would do the doubles, and then Ruby and Pyrrha had a private match in order to choose who would represent our team, with Pyrrha winning that battle. And thus for the Vytal Festival finals, it was Pyrrha versus Penny. Pyrrha, after a hard-fought battle against Penny, the android girl from Atlas, barely won against her after I made sure to tell Pyrrha about Penny's nature as an android like my girls and to be careful not to scramble her with her polarity semblance. So in the end Pyrrha won and once again continued her legend as the invincible girl, but after the festivities, as she was named champion, died down that night, I was interrupted from our celebrating as my team minus Ruby was having fun and getting ever so slightly drunk as the sheer joy and fun the festival had brought made all Grimm's surrounding Vale move away out of discomfort. I was called by Commander White. "Whitey, what's up?" I said, slurring a bit with how I had unfortunately gotten into a drinking contest with Nora and Young. I won, but honestly, I also lost at the same time. White audibly sighed and clicked her tongue. "Jake, wake up. Salem is calling Cinder's scroll due to all her seers getting killed by Vale's defensive measures." At White's words my mind cleared up a bit, so instead of just flirting with White I did the perfectly reasonable thing to do while drunk and just face-planted into Weiss's chest as she was entirely sober due to her pregnancy and had fallen asleep due to how rowdy we had been all day. "I am putting her on the line," White said, and I frantically got away and looked up, blitzed out of my mind as for my enhanced scroll on the front portion of the phone the hologram feature activated, and lo and behold was the Salem in Grimm form. "Oh hey, Salami. Nice costume," I said, waving to her, but I didn't call her Mommy_Salami69, as that was too cringe, and my team, even though drunk, would laugh at me and her, as Salami was a name on Remnant due to the whole color names being a thing. "Ah. Yes, it's my costume for the celebration of the Vytal Festival," Salem said dryly as she noticed I was fucking plastered. "Excuse me, Jake, as nice as it is to speak to you, but I meant to call the owner of this phone as she was supposed to do work for me," she said, leading the conversation to Cinder, but I just shook my head as I cleared my head. But I failed and began mumbling. "Salem. Why do I always get hooked to hot girls with white and blonde hair?" I said, pointing at her, and she closed her eyes, visibly taking a deep breath while I continued to ramble on. "Hey, my team and Cinder's team got wasted after all the fun today and are just sleeping. Can I come to spend the night with Chew?" I asked, and Salem's face twisted into irritation before she snorted as she brought her hand across her voluptuous frame covered up by the tight-fitting dress. "I am afraid it will take me a while to get out of costume," she said, wryly mentioning how she would talk to me before in her illusion-covered form, but I shook my head. "Nope, you're still Salem, so I don't care if you have a bit of hair dye and some pale skin," I said, shaking my head again almost petulantly, and then I looked at her again as I spoke again. "Come on, you want to talk for a bit?" I cajoled, and I could hear White on the other line face palming as drunken me shamelessly worked on Salem for a fucking booty call. "Fine, we may spend the night speaking again. But tell Cinder I will have words for her later," Salem said fondly, as we had spent quite a bit of time talking online and the drunk me did something stupid. When I messed around asking if I could spend the night with Salem, I wasn't entirely joking, as drunk me thought that bending over the somewhat crazy and very lonely MILF was a wonderful idea. So even as I pulled at my semblance and the visual surroundings shown in the video of Salem's inner castle, I did the stupid. I reached through a portal and my arms softly curled around Salem, making her freeze as my chin came to rest on the top of her head. "Heh, I found you, Salem," I said drunkenly and woodenly. The woman with pale skin and jagged lines of black and red glowing corruption slowly looked sideways from her seat. "You don't find my appearance repulsive or a sight worthy of terror?" she asked, not even angry at my arms wrapping around her, but almost fascinated more than anything. I just blinked at her stupid question before I giggled manically, and then one hand that was holding her stomach slid upwards and squeezed one of her large breasts. "Salem," I started seriously, as my brain filled with the delightful feeling of her full and large breasts that filled my hand that was bigger than any of my androids and ahem, much larger than Weiss's. I have literally accidentally nutted to the picture of the back of a pretty girl's knee. "You are the definition of a MILF and I want to put a baby into you," I said bluntly, and Salem went atomic red and stuttered at my utterly shameless bullshit that drunk me thought was perfectly reasonable to say.